You're on mute, Charlie.
He's on mute.
And still.
Every single week, this happens. But you know what? It's Thursday. I'm Geeky Guy Comics. We're back. Another Thursday Killer Comic Show. I'm joined by these two gorgeous men. Happy Thursday, lads.
Happy Thursday. Oh, you said gorgeous men. Sorry, Tom. Who was talking to you?
I'm not, but men, plural.
Oh, Jesus, put those away. Tom, how are you? How's your week?
I'm very good, thank you, Andy. It's been a very good week, actually. To be fair, busy. I'm trying to juggle quite a lot of things, so it's been quite a busy week. But how about yourself? How was your week? How was your week, Charlie? Good.
Yeah, massive quality busy week. Yeah, so the sun's shining, got quite a lot done. Productive week. I'm absolutely buzzing. Yeah, it's fucking awesome, and I'm spending my Thursday night with you lads. So yeah, what about you, Andy?
Yeah, the weather has been absolutely glorious, and I've been making the most of my time off and doing interviews for jobs and all that good stuff. So it was good because like as soon as we'd finished last week's show, it felt like the first show that we'd ever done, and I was like buzzing, and we were all buzzing to get back into the next show. So hopefully, everybody that's obviously joined us in the live chat will enjoy what we have to offer this week.
Indeed, and talking about the live chat, it's absolutely buzzing. We've got Phil's Treehouse. I'm Phil. My probation officer said making this show is mandatory. There we go. Andy has said, "Sit down, Phil. Keep your hands where we can see them." Yes, sir. ABC Comics is Mark, comic addicted. Enough said. There we go. Phil's Treehouse. Welcome, Mark. Help yourself to coffee and bagels in the back. I'm looking for them bagels. I'm pretty hungry. I could do with some. I'll run. Poptimist. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much for joining. Batman Dixon. Howdy, dude. Howdy, doody. Chris Judge. I'm going to call him Chris Judge because I've just said that, so I'm going to stick with that tonight. He's Chris Judge. Chris the Judge Bell. Judge Heatwave can piss off. Really? Can it really? Come on. You must love the hot weather. If it's cold, typical like English.
Listen, guys, it's not hot. It's moist. Or as we say in Scotland, claggy. It's claggy weather.
It's claggy. And as we also said on Triple G's channel on Monday, the Geeky Art Attack, if you haven't watched it, go over and watch that. Moist moobs. Moist moobs.
Moobage.
There we go. And I'm already getting slagged off for my cover. Running late because Charlie has realised a blank cover. Don't cut it. Funny, we was just talking about that. We was literally just talking about that, and it was literally such a quick conversation. Gone in a flash, it was. There we go. So,
get off.
Do you know what? Right, it is what it is. It is what it is. We're gonna get down to the nitty gritty straight away. So I'm not even gonna hold you lads like anymore. We're just gonna get straight down to it, and we're gonna go.
I am so looking forward to what Charlie's going to say about his comic. I'm
me too.
Looking forward to it.
I hope he's first.
Oh dear, he's on mute. Oh no, he's not. He's back.
No, I'm not.
Do you mute yourself when you show the intros off?
No, my computer's lagging massively. This computer, because I think I'm running clean my Mac because I have so much slides that you guys send through to me. I have to keep it on the download. So I've got to get a new laptop. Is what it is.
It is.
But yeah, this is the killer covers for June 14th, which was New Comic Book Day yesterday. We've got some good covers, we've got some mediocre covers, and then we've got mine. So this is where it gets interesting. I am literally lagging well behind, but we won't dwell on that too much. I'm in a positive mood, so let's get straight into it. So Tom, you're up first.
Well, I would have liked to have picked the cover that Andy picked. However, I couldn't not pick my boy J. Scott Campbell. So J. Scott Campbell has joined the Battle Chaser crew of the Joe Moreda and Ludo Luperin to join back up on Battle Chasers, which he was part of back in the day when it first came out. He was actually part of the original creation crew with Humberto Ramos. So it's nice to see him back on Battle Chasers. So I just had to pick it. I had to go for Battle Chasers issue 10, J. Scott Campbell cover C. What do you guys think? I really like this cover, to be fair.
I love it. It's J. Scott Campbell. It's J. Scott Campbell. It's what you see is what you get. It's a perfect cover for him as well, and it's nice to see him back doing the Battle Chasers. It's also nice to see Battle Chasers back. So this is one that I picked up just for the J. Scott Campbell collection. Yeah, it's great, fantastic, and yeah,
I love the detail on the sword because that's what your eye's drawn to, obviously.
Yeah. I was more about the trade dress myself. I think that really stands out.
Yeah.
Really,
or the lack of.
That bottle of wine.
You mentioned this. You mentioned this a few weeks ago. This was one of your picks a few weeks ago, Tom. And
yes, because Battle Chasers is back. Yeah.
So I kind of jumped on it, and I'm really enjoying this. I think this is a great story. It's enjoyable, and I'm loving this cover. I for some reason I didn't pick it up, and I was like, "This is J. Scott Campbell." Try to pick it up now. It's stupid. Like I can't even find it anywhere. I jumped on eBay, and it was like you can get it from the US, and it was like £35 shipping. So I think unfortunately I missed that boat. So anyone lucky enough to pick that up, well done, because it is a fantastic. It's kind of like a Prince of Persia type of thing. I quite like it.
It's got that vibe about it, definitely. It might be
it's a great cover.
Slab Crusaders might be able to sort you out if they've.
No, they sold out. They sold out. Yeah, they sold out in all 7 ways that you can kind of get it. They sold out in this. So
John from Galactic, if you're watching this and you haven't put this aside for me, we're gonna have words, pal.
There we go. But yeah, this is Battle Chasers issue number 10, cover C by the fantastic J. Scott Campbell. Tom. Up next, we've got me. I chose DC, the Flash 800 blank sketch variant cover. That's me done. And then Andy, what about you, mate?
So sorry, what cover did you pick, Charlie? I missed it there. Sorry.
Yeah, so it went in a flash. I have no idea why I picked that cover.
Were you having a bad day, Charlie? What was?
Honestly, I think I must have been, because last night I was sitting there, and I'm going to show it just for a giggle. But last night I was looking over the covers that came out this week, and I was like, why the hell did I pick that? I think.
Were you having a bad day?
I think I was. I think the Poptimist suggested one. I think a few other people in the chat suggested one. I think a few people said about my brashness, and like they like the fact that I was just going for this. But I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. What it might be good if anyone can manage to get this on an iPad and wants to do a sketch on it and send it in next week to see what their take on the Flash is, what their custom cover would be, and we can show that off. But other than that,
do you know what? I kind of thought that's how you could pitch this to win cover of the week. You could be like, if you think about it, right? So we've all picked covers that we like. Now this cover is completely blank. So you, in your imagination, can come up with whatever you like.
Stop selling it. Stop selling it.
Sorry.
But that was kind of, I did have plans to kind of do a sketch myself, but literally never got round to it. And then that was it. But yeah, this is the only thing I do actually like about that is the old DC logo and stuff. But it's not going to win. I accept that. I accept defeat. I'm happy with that.
I bet get them bots running, pal.
But if anyone does want to send in a sketch on this variant cover, I'd be very interested to see what your take is on that. That'd be great.
Next. I went for Black Panther issue number 1, the Ivan Tale comic book news Virgin variant B cover. I've actually read this comic. I will be reviewing this tomorrow on Peter's show. This cover, I think, is fantastic. It gives me John Tyler Christopher vibes whenever he done the sort of black cover with the sort of like that purple hue all around Black Panther. And certainly once you've read the story as well, this cover is very in keeping, because this is kind of like the new look for the Black Panther. So yeah, guys, what do you think of Ivan Tale's work?
I like this. I think it's. I mean, I would have picked it if you hadn't. This was on my radar of books to pick. But my like the thing I would say is I think this is a massive upgrade from the Spider-Man one he did.
Yeah.
I think when I first saw it, I thought, oh, is that a bit samey? Does that look like the same Spider-Man that he did, or same as the Raphael one he did? Like it's in the same position, but I think it's kind of an upgrade from those. And like you said, that Tyler Christopher thing that he's got going on, where he's almost made a staple version of what he does that's going to go forward. This is kind of his style now. This will be what he'll do. Bit like the Patrick Gleason webheads.
Exactly.
This is kind of what I think the Ivan Teo bust will be a thing. I really like this. I think it's quality. I really like that shoulder pad. I think it's quality. I'd love to see someone like cosplay as this, or like actually have all the
you could definitely see that happening. Couldn't you? I for Ivan Tail, I love his work, but I prefer his work when it's a masked character. I think that's when his stuff really
his faces
pops.
aren't the best,
because whenever it's like a female face or even a male face, it kind of looks kind of generally the same. It's that same look to it, whether it's Harley Quinn or anybody, Shuri or whatever. But yeah, this was my pick, and hopefully everybody that's voting will like it.
I've got to say, I think this is one of the best Ivan Teo covers that he's done. I think the Spider-Man ones were great, like they're fantastic and stuff, but this one is amazing. Like the hue, the shade and everything. I think it's awesome.
I'm glad they didn't go down the sort of drip look. Remember, like the Spider-Man ones, they done it was like a drip paint drip effect.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad he did. He went a sort of different route for this one, because obviously we then get a little bit samey. You know what I mean? As you say. Sorry, Tom, I cut you off. What did you say?
No, it's fine, mate. I was just going to say that purple glow at the back really makes it pop. Did you say you read this?
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was an issue 1, so I'll get a hold of this. I might read it myself.
Yeah, I picked 5 books because I'm trying to get myself into reading more comics. So I set aside some time, picked 5 books, and Peter's doing a show tomorrow at 8:00, I believe it is, on his channel, Triple G. So we're going to,
which we'll get to the Bizzle.
Give this a review and see what it's like.
I've got to say, I read this and I really enjoyed it. Like as first things go, I thought it was quite good. So yeah, and the cover's fantastic. So it's definitely a 2-horse race this week. If you guys or one of you guys can kind of get the vote up on YouTube, that would be great. Look at that, look, already on it. So yeah, so we've got Andy's pick, we have my pick, and then we have Tom's pick as well. So yeah, 2 good covers. Who's going to be the winner? We shall find out in a flash. Here we go. So that's the business end out of the way. Open and shut case really for you two. I'll pick up the trail behind. Not a problem. Used to doing that. So moving on. So the comic we chose last week was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles vs. Street Fighter issue number 1. Now, obviously, this was from week 23, which was last week. New comic book day. This is from IDW. There was an array of variant covers out. We've got the main cover by Ariel Medel. We've got the cover Ari Caballetera Slab City Comics variant. We've got the Miko Cyan Jolzar Collectibles variant cover. We've got the PJ Katakuna Jolzar Collectibles variant cover. We have the cover B, which is Williams II. We've got the Carnivore Comics Tiago the Silver Virgin variant. We've got cover RI. I'm not sure what the RI stands for. Do either of you know?
Retailer incentive.
And what's the RE, Retail Edition?
Exclusive.
Or retail exclusive. Okay, cool. We've got the RI 1 in 25 incentive by Federici, and we have the Ivan Teo Jolzar Collectibles variant cover. Now, this was written by Paul Allure, arts by Ariel Medel, and the cover and colours by Sarah Meyer. Tom, this was your choice. If you would like to get down into it, and then myself and Andy shall follow.
Awesome. So basically the premises of this is when a prestigious martial arts tournament invites fighters to travel to Atlantic City and test their skills, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles jump into the chance to compete. But a big set stage means big competition, and the world's famous street fighters have also shown up in force to show their mettle and show off their powers, their psycho-powered fighting forms. As if that's not enough of a challenge, there are rumors of competitors disappearing, and the identity of the contest's benefactors is shrouded in mystery. This is a do not miss for any fan favorites of the Shellheads and the Ryu, Guile, and Chun-Li. So that was the premise. I read it. I loved it. I thought it was really easy going, to be perfectly honest. It's not going to win any BAFTA award winners for for the story, but it was literally a fan kind of, what they call it, fan service. 100% fan service. Loved it from start to finish. I thought the fight between Guile and Raph was awesome, and it's set up for the next one. Very predictable. I think you can already predict what's going to happen, and I think you can already predict who the main villain is. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But yeah, I thought it was okay. I would give it, probably what would we say? We're doing out of 10, aren't we? So I'd probably give it a strong 6 out of 10.
On the story as a whole, though, what would you kind of? Because for me, right, if I'm being honest, I was looking so forward to this, and I think the whole way that it was kind of portrayed by IDW and the amount of covers that came out, for me at the moment, it honestly feels like every other week there seems to be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mashup miniseries.
Yes.
If it's not with the Power Rangers, it's with Batman. If it's not with Batman, it's kind of with another entity. I just don't know how I'm feeling about it now. It's like IDW are kind of struggling to fill the void of the comics that they've got to push out.
I totally agree with you. I think, unfortunately, IDW lost the rights to Transformers and G.I. Joe, which just means they literally are the only thing they've got is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So they are almost doing what DC do in that kind of let's regurgitate as much as we can for as long as we can to get the money in so we can buy more rights to more books. I think this is one of the better ones that they've been putting out at the moment. I mean, the actual Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles running series is just it's really nasty. It's got really like so this is much better. It's a bit more fun. But I totally agree with you. I think there's been a lot of TMNT versus someone, and I think to have this come directly after the Power Rangers one, you could have given us a few months off, even not, maybe 6 before you did one that. But this is all to do with the fact that there's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TV show coming on Netflix, and a film coming out, and the Street Fighter game just dropped. So it's all to do with that. It's got nothing to do with, waiting for us to be ready for it.
I think that is a cash cow, because I think about a month ago the Street Fighter Go launched on the phones. So you're able to play that. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I was born in 1985, so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and Power Rangers. That's my childhood right there, growing up and stuff. And I do like the old school characters and the 80s vibe that they've got going on and stuff like that. And I like the fact that you jump straight into with Raphael fighting Guile when there's all their signature punches flaring up and stuff, and then you kind of get a little meet up between Michelangelo and Chun-Li getting getting popcorn and stuff, then going into the fight. And then when I actually do get into the ring, you see Chun-Li's signature kick and like Michelangelo playing the dumb Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle that he is. But for me, if I'm being honest, as much as I enjoyed it and I wanted it more, I don't really think there's much to get excited about, if I'm being honest. Like, I love the comic, but for me, it just felt that this was a powerbomb knockoff.
I'm going to jump in at that point, because that's I didn't think it was a powerbomb knockoff. I think what this doesn't do that Do a Powerbomb does do is that you don't need to be a wrestling fan. So nostalgia always sells, and it always should sell. And Do a Powerbomb, I was sold on it because of the fantastic artwork and because of the fantastic story that it told. It just so happened that it was centered around wrestling, and you could tell the person who had actually written it, Dan Warren Johnson, loved wrestling. But for me, for this was just a bit of a cash grab. I think it was playing on those nostalgia heartstrings. I think the covers were the highlight, and the first page for me was a highlight. So I picked the first page there. I opened it up and I was like, right, I am ready for this. This is what I expect. This is what I was looking for this book. I just wanted lots of fight and lots of action. And as much as we did get some good panels with fighting and action in it, and I thought the artwork was solid for what it was. I thought the color work, I think it was Sarah Myers that done the color work.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. It's what I expected. For me, it was just the cheesiness of some of the writing in it and some of the things that were said that kind of let it down. And it just seemed to be one pace as well. Like nothing really. You could see that it was just going to be kind of like paint by numbers almost, where we're going to work in issue 2, and it's going to be 2 different characters that are going to be fighting. And the underlying premise that some of the fighters are disappearing, I sort of got a little bit of that essence of that in the first issue, but it never really went anywhere. So for me, I kind of agreed on, like, would I pick up the next issue? Am I really desperate to see how the next fight goes and what's happening with the missing fighters? And for me, the answer would be no.
See, that's the thing with me, right? As much as, like, let's be honest, if you're a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan and a Street Fighter fan, you're going to love this. Like, you are going to love it. You're going to enjoy it, because everything about the two properties meeting is predominantly laid out pretty well. Like, the whole premise of the story is kind of laid out pretty well. I mean, there's fighting, there's joking, there's a story that leads into the other bits. There's M. Bison and there's Baxter Stock Command and stuff. So you've got the character enjoyability and everything coming into it, but I just wanted more. I thought, like, as you said, when you jump into that first page where Raphael's smashing in Guile, you just think, this is going to be wicked.
But as per this medium, like, it's going to be a good story as well.
Yeah,
and that's what I think it lacked a little bit in the first issue for me. It didn't sort of pack that proverbial punch. If I wanted nostalgia, you can just go and start playing the games.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just lost something a little bit for me. But I can see why someone the likes of you guys who are really into your Turtles, really into your Street Fighter would pick up issue 2 just to get that sense of nostalgia.
I mean, I think I would pick up issue 2 to read, definitely. But I don't know whether that's just because I want to give it a chance. But I enjoyed it. I totally agree with you guys. I think it was a bit of a cash cow. But I tell you what, I really like that panel that picture that you've picked, Andy. If you look at the sweat, they turn into pixels.
Yeah.
So it's to show that he's been punched and he's a video game character. I thought that was really clever, quite smart actually.
The motion of the fist as well, I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
Because it almost looks like two different layers that have been placed on one another.
Yeah.
There was definitely some moments with regards to the art and the color work. There was some like parts that, like when I was looking at the Turtles, that it just didn't seem as if it was the Turtles that I remember back in the day, even from the animated series. I know there's been different versions of them, but I just thought there was a little bit of inconsistency when it came to the drawing of the Turtles.
I think overall I'm gonna give the story a 6 because I think it was a bit lackluster and I think it could have done so much more. For the art, I've got to say I quite enjoyed it. I'm going to go for an 8, and then for the colours, I've given an 8 as well because I think the thing that I was playing around with, if this was in black and white, would it have been more interesting? But then I'm kind of like, I don't think you would have got the whole across the thing.
Well, you wouldn't have known which turtle was which.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's weird because I do want to pick up number 2. My only question to you guys was, obviously, we've had the last run-in, which focused on a certain Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. This one seems to going to be focused on Raphael. Like, M. Bison is seeming to be focusing on Raphael. In the last run-in, was it Michelangelo or was it Raphael that was like...
Mikey.
It was Mikey.
Yeah.
So I'm just interested to see like why... Because obviously Michelangelo's the Joker of the group. Raphael's like the serious stuck-up one. I'm interested to see why Raphael's been chosen.
Because he's the anti-hero, mate.
Yeah.
That's his kind of premise, isn't it? Like, each group has got one. So if you look at the Turtles, you've got Leonardo, he's the Boy Scout.
Yeah.
You've got Donatello, he's the tech geek.
Yeah.
You've got Michelangelo, the geek, the
Joker.
The Joker, and then Raph is the anti-hero, if you like. He wants to be the leader but can't be the leader because he's just got an attitude problem. And then if you look at Power Rangers, they've got the same. You've got the Red Ranger, he's the leader. Yeah. You've got Billy, he's the geek. You've got Trini and Zach, who are tech geeks, and then you've got Tommy, who's the anti-type hero. It's kind of a classic thing.
Exactly. So what I was trying to say is that why have they gone classic? They could have done something totally different and kind of gone for Donatello, because Donatello doesn't really get focused a lot. And I think I would have been interested more to think, oh, hold on, they haven't gone like for the standard, like, you know, who they're going to go for. They've gone for Donatello. So I would have been more interested in that. But I mean, it's weird because this is what comics does. Like, I enjoyed it. Didn't think it was all that great, but I want to pick up issue number 2.
Yeah.
That
just shows that it was an easy read, I suppose.
Yeah, so I don't think that this comic was kind of going for that deep story. It wasn't like really like digging into the different characters. It was just kind of a little bit of an excuse to play in the Turtles and Street Fighter sandbox and get them to fight each other. It's kind of a like, who would win out of, such and such a fight? Well, you're getting to see it in a comic. I think overall, I'm not going to break it up for art and all the rest of it. I'm going to give this a 4, guys.
Ooh, nice.
It just wasn't. It wasn't for me. Sorry.
That's fine. I was 6, mate, all round.
Well, yeah, I think we kind of all agree on it that it wasn't the best comic. But I think the thing with the comics like this is that where they push so many covers out, you just expect it to be great. And you think, oh, it's Turtles, Street Fighter, it's going to be awesome. And I don't know.
Give it to a kid, and I'm sure they would absolutely love this because of some of the action scenes in it.
I did.
Big kid. But yeah, no, it's I'll be interested to see what you guys think issue number 2, but it'll be something that I'll probably read.
Definitely. All right, cool. So I've literally Yuko Demands Treats, welcome. Thank you for joining. What the fuck? Is that a blank cover in covers of the week? You turn up a few minutes late and the world goes mad. Yes, it is a blank cover, and I'm going to go with the excuse that I had sunstroke. That's what I'm going with. And Sean's just said it wasn't sunstroke, it was just a stroke. Ooh. There we go. So yeah, so
genius.
So we've done covers of the week. We've dug me out. I'm at the bottom of the pile. The competition tonight is just between Andy and Tom, as it has been for the past 23 weeks. And moving swiftly on.
It's a bit of a role change, isn't it? Because last year, I was at the bottom of the pile pretty much the entire year. I think we got to July and I won one. Do you remember? I think somebody made a comment
for me, mate.
They made a comment, didn't they? They're like, Tom's not using his column.
Well, there's loads of space at mine if you want to use mine. So
yeah, might do this year.
But anyway, who gives a fuck? Yeah. Who actually gives a fuck? So Andy, do you want to talk about the changes that we've made from last week's FOC to this week's?
So, final order cut-off, guys. This is your opportunity to contact your LCS and pick up those comics before the publishers print them, send them to print. So you remember last week, if you caught the show, we introduced you to what final order cut-off was. So, as I said, it's the date that retailers must submit their orders before publishers set their print runs. We have sort of pushed everybody towards Slab Crusaders. It's a retailer that we've all used, and the quality of service has been fantastic. So we sort of stand behind it. And they offer sort of 7 different options as to how you can actually get your books. One of which is you can pick up a raw book, which I do, bagged and boarded, and they will stack those until you want to get them sent. You can also get them sent with your CGCs, guaranteed 9.8s. I won't go through them all. Check out Slab Crusaders website, and it'll detail everything there. Just a reminder that the comics that we show, the orders must be placed before 9 p.m. every Saturday, okay, or they may be cancelled. So that's just the opportunity for James at Slab Crusaders to send through whatever orders he gets to Diamond to make sure that he guarantees those copies. And what I love about FOC is it gives me the opportunity to see if there's any really cool covers that I want to pick up. Is there any sort of issue 1s that I think are going to do well? Or is there just generally any books like Star Wars that I would subscribe to, because I don't want to be paying that aftermarket price?
Yeah. I kind of really look forward to FOC now.
Yeah. It's something I've done every single week for as long as I can remember that I've been reading comics. And I know, Tom, that you're very familiar with FOC. Your days were not quite mint. So we thought this was a good idea, just to give people a heads up as to what's available. Now, we're only picking 1 comic each this week, and we're going to do that going forward, unless there's something really special that we want to show you guys. But what I would suggest is that when the show's finished, maybe tomorrow, is go have a look at Slab Crusaders, because they have every book that you can get on FOC for every single sort of publisher. So these are just the 3 that we've picked that we thought were quite special.
And can I just say that as Slab Crusaders are becoming more established, the FOC comics that they're putting on there are selling out a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So if you do go on there, say you go on there today, or you're a member of their Facebook group and stuff, and you think, oh, I'm going to go back tomorrow, I'll have a look tomorrow. I'm not just saying this because we use it. We use them, and we're only going to shout about them because we've used them and they're good. But they will sell out because they're really good at what they do. So if you do see that comic, I would get it when you see it, or at least put it in your basket and maybe give it a few hours. But don't think that you can go back 2 or 3 days later and it's still going to be there, because that's what I did with the Battle Chasers, and it didn't work. And I've done that a few times with some Harley Quinn covers and thought, oh, I'll just go back on a Friday and get it, because they do sell out pretty quick.
And pre-orders is what keeps the lights on for a lot of retailers. So obviously we're suggesting Slab Crusaders. There's lots of other retailers out there. There's your LCSs. The most important thing is, guys, that you support your local comic shop or local retailer. That's kind of all that we're trying to push and promote. So the first book that we have here is Power Rangers Unlimited Hyperforce issue number 1. This was yours, Tom?
It was, mate. So it's the new ongoing Power Rangers series that's coming to Boom Studios, written by Melina Falls. She wrote the Power Rangers Limited miniseries that started not great, were then picked up on the 3rd or 4th issue. There was 8 of them, and they were absolutely amazing towards the end. And it kind of tells the story of the original Rangers, who all then become like part of the grid. So I think this carries on from that. So yeah, it should be quite a good book to pick up. From a spec point of view, this has got 5 brand new key first appearances in it.
Okay, cool.
Oh.
And this is why I love the books that you picked on, because if I'm looking through FOC, like it's no stranger that I'm not the Power Rangers fan.
Yeah.
But this was a good excuse for me to have a good look at this and look at the synopsis and see what was happening with it. So yeah, fair play for that. And I've included the QR code there, guys. So that'll literally take you, if you take your phone up, that'll take you straight to the website, straight to the raw book, and you can go and order that with the Slab Crusaders and just let them know that the Killer Comic Show sent you. What do you think of this one, Charlie? Is this one that will tickle your fancy?
Do you know what? I'm looking like, I've only really read Power Rangers when it's been Ryan Parrott. And this is kind of changed over now. He's not doing that no more, is he?
He's still doing the main series. Yeah, he's the main series, but the main series has had a bit of a hiatus. Yeah. They got to a point, I can't remember what happened. I think there's a really evil alpha now, and Rita Repulsa's got stupid, amazing powers. So I think it's took a bit of a hiatus in the last couple of weeks, as far as I know. But I haven't read it for a while, to be fair.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I want to get back into my Power Rangers. So yeah, great pick.
Perfect. Moving on. This is my pick. This is Jeff Lemire's Fish Flies, issue number 1.
Was there an Ashcam of this recently?
There was a free comic book day. Yep, free comic book day not too long ago that sort of introduced this sort of world. So this is through Image Comics, and they're written, and interestingly enough, it's the artwork is by Jeff Lemire as well, and the covers as well. So he's doing absolutely everything on this now. In absolute fairness, I haven't read the free comic book day pages on this book. But again, because it's Jeff Lemire, it's something that I'm going to pick up. That I'm going to give.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Was it good? Yeah, I was going to ask you guys to get an opportunity to read it.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. So again, with every Jeff Lemire book, I'm just hoping that it's a consistent read and kind of gets to the middle and end well as well, because I know that we've obviously reviewed quite a few and it kind of gets a little bit lackluster in the middle. I think this one might be one that I'll pick, hopefully, to be voted on, to give it a read, just to see what it's like. Tom, is this one that you've taken a fancy to, or have you heard of this one?
So after you showed the free comic book day one, I looked into it, and it is something I would be interested in reading. And now that you've kind of mentioned it, I don't know whether we don't put it to a vote and we just read it, because I'm sure this one would get picked anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether we just read it, because we do like the Jeff Lemire books. It's just I want one that doesn't go off and then veer off to one side and then you can't come back. And I want a Jeff Lemire story to actually make sense.
Tom, do you know what I think Connie's hit the nail on the head. Like, we've read May's book, we've read Little Vampires, and them stories start off really well, and then you get to a middle and you kind of just lose track or you lose interest in it. Yeah. So hopefully, I mean, Little Vampires, we all thought it was going to end on issue 6 and it's now like issue 13 or whatever it is, but that's kind of well. And I think I really enjoyed the free comic book day. A massive shout out to Ed Vick, who managed to pick up all my free comic book days this year, these books this year, because I was unable to get there. So massive shout out to Ed for that. But yeah, this was great. So yeah, Tom's got his sausage out again.
Oh, I got my wiener out live on telly.
2 weeks in a row, you'll do anything for that killer cover vote, you tell me. Fish Flies issue number 1. Looking forward to that. Again, QR code will take you straight to there if you want to order this through Slab Crusaders. And last, but certainly not least,
this was an absolute no-brainer, was it? So Alice Never After the huge success of one of my favourite stories of last year, Alice Ever After, Dan Panasian and Giorgio Spatella has smashed it out of the park again, and they are releasing Alice Never After. So this is written by Dan Panasine, art by Giorgio Spalletta, and the art and cover art on certain covers and pages in the book is done by Dan. I'm looking forward to this. He mentioned on the show earlier this year that he had something to announce. I was privy to this 3 or 4 months ago, so I kind of knew that this was happening. But best friends, but also Dan.
Best friends anyone can have with the
this one comes out on July the 26th. This is out on July 26th. Dan is going to be on the show July the 20th, so the Thursday before, and he's going to give us all an insight into this and exclusive into what we can expect for Alice Never After. So yeah, head over to Slab Comics, scan the QR code, and get this on your pull list and make sure you get it because it's going to be great.
Bosh!
It would be remiss of me not to mention the fantastic cover B by Jenny Frisson.
For who?
Jenny Frisson. I've not seen Jenny's name in quite a long time, but it's absolutely fantastic.
I love the way you say Jenny Frisson.
I bet you do. And there's also a 1 in 10.
Gives my wiener a bit of a twinge, doesn't it, Rex?
Moving on. They have a 1 in 10 as well. So again, with Slab Crusaders, you can send those off to get Garmin's 9.8, which is fantastic. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Alice Never After. I'd also suggest just a quick shout out to Dan Panasine. Go check out his Twitter and his Instagram. Some of the stuff that he's putting out at the minute is superb. And I'm really looking forward to having a chat with him.
And you know what? Head over. I'm not just saying this because it was on our channel, but head over to the interview that I did with him because I think at some of the end slides I put up, and he does these quick sketches every day on Twitter. And he does some of these sketches, and I said, like, you would look at them and think, how long are they taking you? Like 2 or 3 hours? He does them every morning on his morning coffee. He said it takes about 20 minutes. And some of the sketches that he's put up recently are amazing. And they look so intricate that he's like, yeah, I'm boshing them out in like 20 minutes. And it's just unreal. These guys are so talented. So massive shout out to Dan.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, that's our 3 FOC picks. So those will be up to Saturday at 9 o'clock. So
just quickly, while we're on the Dan Panasine thing, if you're going to go look for him on Twitter or Instagram, he's not as Dan Panasine. He's the Urban Barbarian.
That's right. Yeah.
Otherwise, you could be there for hours trying to find Dan Panasine.
So where's his art? I can't see his art. I can just see his dinners.
Yeah.
That's us, Charlie.
Yeah, that's us. Perfect. So we also have this, and but backed by popular demand, it's the killer indie picks. So these are the picks.
So basically, 2 people asked.
Yes. So 2 people asked, and they won. And killer indie picks, June 21st. Andy.
Yeah. So this was really late on, guys. We kind of discussed this today, and we thought that, you know what, we do our top 3 FOC. Why not just throw some indie books in there? So hopefully you'll enjoy it. If not, we can scrap it again. It's absolutely no problem. Less for me to think about. So the first one is The Sickness, issue number 1. This is by an indie company called Uncivilized Books. Now, this is as indie as you will probably get, I would imagine. So I would say this is going to be quite a challenge to pick this book up. Yes, I don't know how many people will actually be ordering this. So this is written by Lonnie Nadler. Jenna Cha does the artwork, and it is due out next week, June 20th. So I've put the distributor SKU on there. If you give that to your LCS, they will try and put an order through for you at this point. But obviously, this is past FOC because these books are due out next week. I forgot to put the synopsis on this.
No, you did, Andy. I don't know what it was. I couldn't read it, so I just thought going forward, if you just read the synopsis.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that heads up.
Sorry, mate, I've totally forgotten to. But I wanted to pick this for the read next week. But I just think because it's Uncivilized Books, again, as you've mentioned, it's going to be quite hard to get hold of, because I think if you had made your LCS aware of this 3 or 4 weeks before, they would have been able to order it. But I think it looks great. It looks right up my alley, like something I really want to mention, like read. I just don't know whether my local LCS, like of a place in space or Forbidden Planet, is going to have this.
As you know, as a book that could be, some say, go under the radar. Like, I would imagine this is probably one. And you'll notice that the person that does the lettering is Osmani El Houi, who we're big fans of. Has done a few other books, like what was the chicken one? Chicken
Devil.
Chicken Devil.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, next week when we're doing these, I'll have that a little bit, the synopsis blog, just to give you an idea of it.
Potsmith has already read it, and he said The Sickness, It is a story that results in the main protagonist taking a liking to a blank comic cover.
There we go.
go. So,
yeah.
Is that how the sickness starts? Is it?
Yeah, that's how it ends, mate. I tell you, just keep them coming. I'm enjoying this tonight, so go for it. There is hope, you know. There's still hope.
Oh, nice segue there. So this is by our good friends at Source Point Press. This is Hope issue number 1. This is written by Dirk Manning and Sally Scott does the artwork. So again, I don't recall what the synopsis says, but I will be obviously doing that next week. What I would suggest, guys, I just go to like League of Comic Geeks and also Previews World. Those 2 websites are fantastic for looking at what books are coming out the following week. So if any of these take your fancy, have a little look and read the synopsis, but just make sure that you get your orders in. Hopefully what we'll do going forward is we'll be able to identify these books at FOC just to make sure that you're able to get your orders in plenty of time.
Do you know what I like about this one, Andy? It looks like a Kickstarter.
It's got that definite feel about it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Like this next one, speaking of hope, this is Killing Hope, issue number 1. Now this is by Bliss on Tap Publishing.
Nice. So we go from the sickness, there's hope about having the sickness, to killing hope. I mean, what is wrong with you?
It's good to be back, Tom. That's all I can say.
Hope got the sickness, and now we're killing her.
The guys, you'll notice here who the artist is on this. It's
on the wrong
comic.
show.
Yeah.
So there we go. If that isn't a reason to pick this book up. So this is written by Marlon Maloney. Alex Cormack is doing the artwork on this. But again, just with the first comic that we looked at there, probably quite tough for you to find this. So make sure that you are asking your LCS and the reference numbers there, and they'll be able to bring that up and hopefully order that up for you.
Quality, mate. Sorry, I took away the things and I totally forgot to message you.
Trust me, the synopsis is fantastic, and that's the reason why I picked them. Come on, you know me by now.
Yes, I do. Look, honestly, I'm not judging you, but someone we are judging. Let's just it's time for that part of the show. I'm so looking. Do you know what? I'm so looking forward to this. So obviously, last week we started this new section, the character creator showcase that we're going to be doing every week. Last week was Harley Quinn, and it was enjoyable, boys, wasn't it? It was really enjoyable. Now, obviously, I knew a lot about that character. Tom knew a lot about that character. Andy, not so much. It was interesting. This week, I know hardly anything about Judge Dredd, so I'm joining the viewers on this one and anyone that doesn't really know about him, because I'm well up for learning. I've had a privy to the slides and I've purposely not looked through them because I kind of want to do this live. I want to understand about the character live. So I'm really looking forward to this. So Andy, feel free to take it away with the slides, mate.
I certainly will. I'll do my best. And Tom, feel free to jump in at any point. Judge Dredd is a character that I love and was my introduction to comics. It led into Spawn, and the rest is absolute history. Judge Dredd first issue was out on the 26th of February 1977. There's been 2,335 issues of Judge Dredd, 2000 AD. There's 16 issues that have got different numbering on it, and there's 72 special issues, and there's 36 annuals. So, as you can imagine, guys, in the time that we have today, I'm not going to absolutely be able to, tell you everything that goes on. So I just really picked up the highlights, and the whole purpose of this is to give you a taste and to introduce you to the character. I'm going to give you guys some recommended reading, because with a character that's been in so many books, so many comics, you just don't know where to start. Mm-hmm. Charlie, it's a little bit like you with X-Men. I know that you're like, well, where do I start? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So hopefully this will prompt you guys to go and investigate and pick up some books. Judge Joseph Dredd was created by John Wagner, an artist, the late Carlos Esquerra, one of my favourite artists, along with Brian Boland. and Pat Mills was the editor at the time. The issue on the left-hand side is 2000 AD issue number 2. That's where the first appearance of Judge Dredd. A lot of people think it was maybe issue number 1, and that's not the case. This is the issue that you want to pick up. Judge Dredd is a law enforcement and judicial officer in the dystopian future city of Mega City 1, which covers most of the east coast of North America. He's a street judge empowered to summarily arrest, convict, sentence, and execute criminals.
Sounds awesome.
So
he is awesome.
He doesn't mess about, guys. He literally is the law, to pardon the pun. You can see his get up there. You know, he's got his weapon of choice is called the lawgiver. But before I go into that, I'm going to just give you a little bit of background on Mega City 1. So
before you do that, mate, do you want to do a bit of a meet cute? How you came about?
Oh,
how you got into Judge Dredd? Like, what is it that made you like? What was your first encounter with Judge Dredd? What was that?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think now this is casting my mind back a good long while ago. So I would say I was probably about 6 years of age. And
so about 6 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Pre-baldness. And it was actually my dad had a number of the 2000 AD newspapers. That's effectively what they were.
Yeah.
So from issue sort of 1 up to like 550, 560 was all newspaper format before it changed into what we know as a magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, picked it up, was a little bit nosy, started reading it. Now, for a 6-year-old, it probably, first and foremost, I didn't understand it, probably couldn't read it all, but it was just the artwork that got me, and just asking my dad lots and lots of questions about who this person was, who was doing the artwork and things like that. And that sort of carried me through to going and investigating and finding out a little bit more about the character. When was the first time you guys were introduced to Judge Dredd?
I'm pretty sure my answer and Charlie's answer is going to be the same, so I'm going to let Charlie go for this one.
Go on.
Mine wasn't until 1995 with a film with Sylvester Stallone.
Yes. Yeah,
I loved that film. I kind of thought, oh my God, this is kind of like, I mean, what film came out before and it had him and Wesley Snipes in it? I think it was Demolition Man.
Oh, so mate, love that movie.
Along that whole futuristic vibe, and I was kind of like, this is wicked, but I never portrayed my love of the film to the comics. I just naive got the better of me, and I just thought that was a Sylvester Stallone film. It was one and done. But then the only ever comic I think I've ever really sat down and read of Judge Dredd was the one that was the Free Comic Book Day last year.
Okay.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I can see why he's such an established and well-loved character, because he's a fucking badass. Like, he is the law. Like, when you think of everything you've just described, he is the law. Like, he is everything, and he's such a great character. And I think it's a shame, and I'm disappointed with myself that I've never really invested more time into him, because a lot of people that I speak to, this is where they first got into comics. This is where they first fell in love with comics and found there and started reading comics. So I'm kind of like, why didn't I never do this before? Which is why I'm looking forward to this, because I mean, you're only 2 slides in, and I'm like pinching myself, thinking, why the hell have I left it until I'm nearly 40 to find out about Judge Dredd?
Listen, and that it's to be, there's so much there to take in when it comes to comics, and I think it's because it's because it's in that newspaper form for the early ones, and because there's so much, it just puts people off. But again, if I can get one person who's watching the show or watching on the rewind to go and check out a book, then
sold.
That's it.
That's me. I'm done.
You got 2, mate.
There's 2.
There we go. So yeah, Mega City 1 was established in 2032. Mega City 1 was conceived as an answer to the massive overcrowding plaguing the cities of North America. Originally designed to house 350 million citizens, the population of Mega City 1 soon swelled to an astounding 800 million people. I picked out a couple of sort of panels there. These are all from different times and different sort of artists' sort of idea of what Mega City 1. But for me, it kind of as soon as I watched Blade Runner, I sort of went, oh, that's kind of what it feels like to me, like that whole mega, like, pardon the pun, Mega City, like everything is larger than life, and like it's sort of like all the citizens are kind of like ants, just going about their daily business, and that's a general feel. You'll see some of the artwork there, kind of gives you an idea and a feel for it.
You might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, Andy, but I'm pretty sure T2 came out after Judge Dredd, right? So I'm sure I read somewhere that the idea of the T2 world, where like the robots take over and stuff and all that kind of thing, they have based that kind of post-apocalyptic world on some of the Judge Dredd comics and how it kind of looks like completely destroyed and humanity is completely gone.
You will be so surprised, like once you start reading Judge Dredd, and especially the early stuff, you'll actually like that, Tom. You'll get links to all the stuff.
Yeah.
I would say if it wasn't for Judge Dredd, then a lot of the comics that we enjoy now wouldn't be happening. A lot of the writers, a lot of the artists that we have at the minute got their first jobs at 2000 AD.
Do you know what's really ironic? And those of you who are watching on the rewind that are from the American audience might not know who Judge Dredd is, because he is an English kind of staple, really. He's literally our book, but he will have inspired a lot of the American books that you wouldn't actually know he did inspire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he's basically like the American institutions. Well, he's our English, United Kingdom institution.
Well, this is what I mean. Like Edvic said, with you, Andy, I remember being about 8 and seeing some ridiculous graphic images and absolutely loving it. I haven't read enough in the last 10 years or so, to be fair. You've got Panels and Pints has said the essential Judge Dredd books are a good starting point. Leon Russell, welcome, sir. I'm old enough to have read the original 2000 ADs when they came out. I read them in tatters, even amongst some really strong strips. Dredd was always my favourite. And then Connie, she's with me saying I've only ever read one Judge Dredd story. What I really liked about that was because I think it was around like 1989 or 1990 when Total Recall came out with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And the whole futuristic part of that kind of really got me into it. So then seeing this film, seeing Demolition Man, they was all on the same kind of futuristic, universal, life-saving type of thing. But I think he just stands out. Like Mega City One just seems like the place that if you're not well established and you know your shit, you're going down.
Absolutely. Well, the fun fact is that Pat Mills, who was the editor and one of the founders of Judge Dredd in 2000 AD, he actually gave he had an idea for this. It was based on a pirate, and it wasn't until the likes of Carlos Esquerra and McMahon had actually taken those concept ideas, and this is the Judge Dredd that we have now. So once you hear that it's kind of based on that old school pirate sort of thing, you can sort of understand where that Judge Dredd character comes from. And what Chris is absolutely right. I remember exactly those characters. I can't remember the name of them now, but yeah, the overweight characters who had like a trolley sort of holding their belly up.
Were they really fat, Chris? Were they really fat?
Really, Jesus, get off. Okay, so that's Mega City 1, guys. Moving on until Charlie says another crap joke. As I said, his Lawgiver is the name of the gun that he wields.
I bet so many people have stole the word like this. Like, I'm going to show you my Lawgiver.
I'm going to, the pure pun city, isn't it? And there's a Mark 1 and a Mark 2, believe it or not, of the Lawgiver. And it's a pistol programmed to recognise only Judge Dredd's palm print and is capable of firing 6 types of ammunition. He also has, pardon the pun, a day stick, a boot knife, and a stun or gas grenade. The helmet that he wears always obscures his face, for except his mouth and his jaw, and that's the one thing that Judge Dredd would be well known for. And whenever an artist draws him, is his prominent chin that he has. It's sort of that, if that's the only thing that you can see on his face, then you can imagine what the rest of him looks like. I think there was only maybe 1 or 2 issues that I was
going to say, I did a little bit of research into this. There is, how many issues did you say there's been in total?
There's 2,335.
And there's only one. There's only one where he removes his helmet, and it shows how disfigured his face is, and you actually don't see anything because they blur it out.
Right, okay.
So you still only see that bit because they blur this top bit.
So he's like the Mandalorian of law enforcement. And,
one issue, and then for this film, that he had it off the entire time, pretty much.
That's awesome. I just love the fact that there's 6 different ammunition, and I done a little bit of swatting up because even I didn't know what it was. There's a general purpose ammunition, which is just a standard bullet. There's armor piercing. There's a rubber ricochet bullet. There is an incendiary. Is that how you say that? Contains a compound that sets the target on fire. There's a grenade launcher, high explosive, and then there's a heat seeker as well. So yeah, basically, if you get caught, you've absolutely no chance, guys.
So basically, he's got all Fortnite weapons in one gun.
Exactly. Yeah, he's Mr. Doom. He's like Doom the old game.
Wow.
He also obviously has to have a mode of transfer, ladies and gents, and he has the Law Master.
This
again,
guy is
punch
awesome.
ready, which is one of the coolest, probably the coolest automobile that a character would wear, would use. And I think this is probably where Batman got the idea for his Batbike.
Yeah, I would agree.
So this is equipped with a machine guns, a powerful laser cannon, and it's fully artificial intelligence capable of responding to orders from the judge and operating itself. So again, that's straight out of the Batmobile, the way that Batman can do it with us. So
that looks awesome.
Like Chris is saying, was Chris in there? Oh, I remember Judge Death. Okay, we're getting there. I'm sure there was a whole Pestilence, etc. group, wasn't there? Yeah, there's. We're going to get to some of the bad guys in Judge Dredd. Guys, if I'm going too quickly, Tom.
No. This is great. This is great.
Good pace.
Cool. So there's lots and lots of adversaries that Judge Dredd has, and my favorite. I'm biased. I love all the like Judge Death and all the other judges that go up against them. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of an overview and an idea of what these guys look like. I think Judge Dredd in 2000 AD has some of the best character designs. I think they're absolutely fantastic. So this is Judge Death, real name Sidney Dieth, and he's part of the affiliation of the Dark Judges. This character, along with all the other ones that I'm going to show you, were created by John Wagner and Brian Boland. Brian Boland being one of my favourite artists, and he first appeared in Volume 1, issue number 149. So again, that was the same issue for a lot of the Dark Judges.
So Andy, just quickly, just so I could, because obviously, like me being a newbie, like learning about Judge Dredd and everything, what's like the different? So he's obviously part of the Dark Judges. How many like judge gangs are there?
I think I don't know how many judges in total there are, but because they operate in different parts of Mega City 1.
Right. Okay.
These are kind of these. They've got like a cult. It's like a witch cult. And there's also like the evil sisters as well. I'm telling you, there's so many characters that I could have went into, but Dark Judges is probably one. And one of the books I'm going to recommend as well is all about the Dark Judges.
Right. Okay. Cool.
One of my favorite reads.
Perfect.
We'll get Judge Fear again. That character design I absolutely adore. He's part of the Dark Judges, and he was first introduced in Volume 1, and it was issue number 224. What I've done on the right hand side,
the action figure is not as nice as the drawing.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, but those are actually the new figures. Sneak preview. I picked up one of the Judge Dredd ones. So these are through Haya Toys. It's I believe it's a Japanese company. And even like the when you look at the picture on the left hand side, it's not like it doesn't have any emotion, the figure, when you consider it against the one on the other side. So
what's really cool about that is it's almost like a really eerie Sauron from like Lord of the Rings or something. I can imagine that sort of character rocking up in that. Like, it's really eerie. I love it. I like that character design.
Well, that's interesting, Tom. What you've just said then, Batman has just said, when I first saw the promo images for the Batman That Laughs, I thought, why is Judge Death in Batman?
Exactly. And that's that a lot of people had said that it was so alike. And you can see, like, as I say, like, this is me just touching on some of the characters. There's so many there, and you will, if you get into it, you'll be able to draw comparisons to modern day. Because as I said, for me, if it wasn't for Judge Dredd in 2000 AD, we wouldn't have a lot of the characters that we have at the minute. So the next Dark Judge is Judge Fire. So you can see the action figure on the right hand side really doesn't do him that much justice.
No.
Pardon the pun. But obviously, I've taken a still from one of the comics on the left hand side.
I suppose action figure wise, you can't exactly charge people for a skeleton, can you?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I've
a
actually,
little bit more.
I've got this one in pre-order, and I'm just looking forward to having them all displayed because I think when they're in a group, it'll look absolutely spot on.
Yeah, so definitely, mate.
This was issue 224 as well, guys. So that's the big issue to get most of the Dark Judges. And I think this is the last one I've got here is Judge Mortis. Again, speaking of skeletons, this is another Dark Judge, and was created by John Wagner and Brian Bond in issue 224. So again, on the right hand side you'll get the figure there, but on the left hand side you can get a sense of the darkness of these characters.
Yeah, it's a shame that the action figures don't do the drawings justice, because that drawing on the left hand side, I mean, he's obviously his back is higher. He's only got 3 fingers, not 5. I mean, that would be more frightening to have on your shelf. Mind you, they won't want you to be more frightening, I guess.
Yeah. The cool thing is though is that if like the younger generation was going in and picking up these figures in the shops, I would hope that would draw them to go and seek out the actual comics as well. So you know,
well, look at this. Chris has just said, okay, so my brother has had 224 in his collection. It was in his book, so I saw all this stuff in.
There we go. Got a key first issue for 2000 AD in that case. So that's all the Dark Judges, guys. I'm conscious of time. I'm just going to quickly move into some of the key issues that you want to be looking out for. If you'll get any questions, then just put them in the chat. First one is 2000 AD issue number 1, released in February 1977. So this had an advertisement in it for issue number 2 featuring Judge Dredd. So it was kind of like next week meet Judge Dredd. He is the law, and you better believe it. So this came with like a frisbee. So a lot of the issues came with like free little accessories and toys. So a lot of people go for issue number 1, because it's issue number 1, but also because it's got that sort of preview, as it were, of Judge Dredd. I've also obviously mentioned issue number 2 there, which is the first official appearance of Judge Dredd. But whenever you're picking this up, just make sure that it includes a sheet of stickers. So there was like what they called a biotronic stickers that are meant to be put on your skin, and you have like the appearance of like a cyborg. So it was like those fake tattoos that you could get.
That's cool.
So a lot of people have those missing. So if you're picking this up, try and make sure that that's included. I've picked out a classic cover here by Mick McMahon, one of my favourite artists as well. And this was the beginning of the Cursed Earth extended story arc. One of the best story arcs and one of the ones that I would highly recommend that you dive into. Fantastic. Look at that cover. It's absolutely superb. It's definitely a work of art there.
And you think, sorry, Andy, you think being that a year, you think from 1977 when issue number 2 came out to the covers that continue on from 1978, there's a huge difference. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it was Carlos Esquerra, then it was Mick McMahon, then Brian Bone started doing them. So you've got a variety of different cover artists there doing these, all with their own idea of what it should look like. Issue number 71 was the start of the banned issue. So 71 and 72, the 2 of these issues were actually banned. And this was part of the Cursed Earth story arc. And they called it Burger Wars. And it was because it infringed on multiple food chain trademarks, including Ronald McDonald. Depicted as a violent gang member. So you can see in issue number 72 there. Why McDonald's didn't like this. And both of these were banned. You can still pick these up. They're obviously a little bit more expensive. I see Ed Vick says here that they're much more expensive. That's definitely the case, especially if you want them in high grade. And then issue number 149 is the first appearance of Judge Death. Obviously the original Dark Judge.
How mad that, like, go back to like this era that you only paid 12p, 9p for a book. Now we're paying like almost £4.
Absolutely, it's unbelievable, and you can definitely tell if you've got lots and lots of 2000 AD books, because I would suggest that you bag and board them, because obviously the paper is just newspaper and it's degraded every single day, and it stinks, absolutely stinks. Issue number 150 was the first appearance of Judge Anderson, one of
that's the female judge, is it?
That's exactly it. Yeah. So this one of one of his co-judges. We've got issue 224, which I've mentioned is the first appearance of Judge Fear, Judge Fire, and Judge Mortis all together. Great issue. This would be the one that I would recommend everybody picks up. And then one of my favourite 2000 AD characters is Rogue Trooper. He's a genetically engineered infantryman, and that was issue number 228 was his first appearance. And there's also talk of a TV series being made, which it's been in the works for years and years during COVID and stuff. I think if this was to come out, that everybody would love this character.
Yeah, honestly, I'm really enjoying this because I'm learning so much about it. So, Andy, and I'm going to be the same next week for the character we've done with that. So you two, you've set me up for a good couple of weeks. So thanks for that.
Yeah, no worries. No, it's good. It's nice to introduce people to different characters they might not know. Last week, I didn't know a huge amount about Harley. And so anything that would get people interested in this is all the better. Last couple I think I've got on here is issue 330. This is the first appearance of Slain, who is a barbarian, and 376 is the first appearance of Halo Jones. So all these characters probably don't mean much to you, but what I would suggest is go and seek them out, guys, because they're fantastic characters and the artwork is absolutely superb. That's your key issues, guys. I'm going to go into a bit of recommended reading.
There's more.
I think we've got 3 more slides left. You'll be glad to hear, guys. No, I know that Sean had mentioned the Essential Judge Dredd is a good way to start, and it really is. The first one that I'm going to recommend is Essential Judge Dredd America, written by John Wagner and Carlos Esquerra doing artwork. So this is considered one of the best stories of Judge Dredd, and is often recommended as an introduction. So America explores what happens when the citizens of Mega City 1 fight for democracy. You guys, I take it you haven't heard that. Would that? No. I would pick this up, guys, if you are interested in starting to read 2000 AD. This would be my top recommendation to try and source this out. It's on Amazon for $14.99. Go on, Tom.
Question. It says Garth Ennis as well. So did he write some Dredd at some point?
He did, yeah. Garth Ennis wrote some Judge Dredd as well. So you've got Alan Grant as well. All through the years, different writers, because it was mostly strips. So there's maybe 3 or 4 pages, and different writers would write their idea of what the story was about.
Okay.
So yeah, like Garth Ennis is obviously a name that we recognise through modern day comics. He pretty much got his start and is well known for his Judge Dredd work.
I just want to say massive shout out to the chat because it's absolutely buzzing and I'm learning so much, not just from these slides as well as everyone in the chat. So massive contributions for you. I remember reading Judge Anderson's Shambhala graphic novel with amazing art by Arthur Ranson in the early 90s was amazing. Leon Russell has said Halo Jones, Alan Moore's great unfinished work. Chris has then said he did a great job of the stainless steel rap books by Harry Harrison too, well worth reading. And Hydra Collectibles, Luke, welcome sir, thanks for joining. He has said, I read my first modern books in months today, Void Rivals. Cheers, mate.
My pick for next
great
week.
stuff. Thank you very much. But yeah, this is great. I'm going to look onto this because if this is a good starting point, then I think this is the way to give me the kick up the arse and read Judge Dredd. So thanks.
Absolutely. So this was Amazon that I got the price of this for. The SKUs there, but please try. Amazon probably doesn't need that anymore of our money. Try and go to your LCS and see if they can pick this up. Next up is Essential Judge Dredd: The Apocalypse War. Again, you can get this for about £15. And this is when the citizens of Mega City 1's massive city blocks declare war on each other. Judge Dredd realizes it's merely a prologue to an all-out nuclear attack by East Meg 1. And you might recognize that from the movie.
This is just before he took all those steroids.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. This is, do you remember the movie, the second movie?
Yes, Dredd 3D. Amazing movie. Love it.
So there we go. That's kind of the basis of that story. Again, John Wagner.
Carl Urban.
Carlos Esquerra doing the drawing. And last, I believe, and certainly not least, is Judge Dredd Necropolis. So this is John Wagner and Carlos Esquerra, and this is the ultimate Judge Dredd versus the Dark Judges storyline. I love this storyline, guys. If you read this and you come away not liking it, then 2000 AD Judge Dredd is not for you. I think this is absolutely superb, and I would highly, highly recommend it.
I might get this one.
This has been wicked. Like Andy, honestly, thanks for this. I've been looking forward to this all week. Tom, I'm looking forward to your one next week. I'm loving this section. I don't know what everyone else is feeling in the chat, but I think this has been a welcome addition to the show. I'm absolutely loving it. That's the end of this. I just wanted to kind of touch on, well, before we go on to like the end of the vote and stuff and the other sections of the chat, I just want to kind of go into the like the big news that everyone kind of was found out yesterday. Obviously, John Romita passed. John Romita Senior passed. I think it kind of hit the comic world pretty hard. I don't think anyone was expecting it, to be fair. I think he was like, obviously, he's been a massive player in the game since the dawn of comic books, as it were. So I think it's a shame. It just seems that we're losing over these last couple of years. We're losing like so many of the original gangsters of comics, as it were. So, but yeah, it's pretty sad to be honest. How did you guys take it?
Yeah, I was gutted, mate. To be fair, I didn't realize how many of my favorite characters he did created. I really didn't. I know a lot about him, but I didn't realize that he created the Shocker, Rhino, Kingpin. I didn't realize that he was part of all that, and actually co-created Wolverine. And I believe, if I did my research right, that he actually had a lot to do with helping his son develop and create Hobgoblin.
Right. 93 was as well.
93.
That's a really, really good.
Yeah.
I think it was. I mean, it wasn't until sort of yesterday when I was looking him up and trying to get a little bit more information. I think I was naive to the impact that he had on comics. I didn't realize the half the covers that he'd done and the stuff that he'd done with Timely Comics back in the day. A lot of the stuff that he'd done in the early years was sort of, he was a ghost artist effectively.
Yeah.
So he would do stuff and then other stuff would release it under their name.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so hard to find his early stuff. But I think Legend is kind of a bandied about a lot in a lot of ways. But this is really sad. But may he rest in peace. And I think if it wasn't for him, then we certainly wouldn't have the characters and that we have today.
Well, it was a pinnacle point with Spider-Man, wasn't he? Because Steve Ditko and Stan basically fell out, and it was like, well, who's going to take over? And then Romita came in, took over. And if you think about what he created, we wouldn't have the Spider-Man we have today without him, really. I mean, I know, Kirby and Stan Lee were the originals, and then Ditko created Spider-Man to what he was. But if you think about what Romita brought, he brought Gwen Stacy, and he brought Mary Jane Watson into the fold. So without those two characters, you don't really have the Spider-Man we know and love today, really, do you? And Black Cat as well. Think about all those extra characters that he brought in that made Spider-Man so rich. He's going to be, there'll be another one. There'll be no one ever like him or anyone as creative as he is. Do you know? I only found this out because obviously I like geeking out and finding really obscure information. But he got drafted into the army when it was all kicking off. And the first thing he did was tell them or show them his portfolio, which meant he never ever served on the front line. He ended up drawing propaganda pictures and doing the newspapers and things, and actually never served in the actual war zone. Clever bloke. He knew what he was doing. Yeah.
You must have been looking at Wikipedia the same as I was last night. I was like, walking up and having a proper look.
I ended up going down a proper rabbit hole over it.
No, but I mean that's wicked. Like that's awesome. And like Luke's just said, John Romita was pretty much my go-to artist as a Spidey fan and collector. I think for a lot of people he was. I think for a lot of people he was the kind of the Mr. Spider-Man. Other than, and there we go. Look, Tom, you're showing off an absolute beauty there.
Yeah, it's my favorite cover with my favorite Spider-Man villain, which is Shocker.
That's awesome. That's a great cover. When did you pick that up?
I've had this for years. I actually don't know when I got it, to be honest. I've had it for years. I think it's one of the first books I ever had. I think it was given to me.
We did have a slide for this, guys. we did have the John Demeter showcase celebration. I think what we'll probably do is maybe leave this to next week, I reckon. And we can maybe pull a slide or two together and sort of showcase this.
I think it'd be nice if if the chat doesn't mind and the community don't mind, if we could do a John Romita celebration showcase without people thinking that we're getting on the bandwagon.
Yeah,
because we just genuinely, all three of us have got massive respect for such an amazing artist who did so much for the the industry that we love, and we would love to do a showcase on him.
Yep,
100%.
So yeah, so I think we'll save that for next week. But obviously, rest in peace and shout out to and for everything that he'd done for the comic business and stuff. So yeah, sad
Thoughts
time.
with his family.
Exactly. But we're back to this point of the show where Tom, if you would like to close the vote and
drum roll, please. So votes are in and counted, and I'm happy to say in third place with 5%. So at least one person voted.
I got 5%. Yeah.
Is Charlie with his blank cover. In second place with 53% is myself with the J. Scott Campbell C cover, which means, as per usual, with 51%, Andy is running away with it again with his Ivan Teo cover. Well done, Andy. Good shout. Good pick, mate, to be fair.
Thank you. I'm emotional. I really thought it was going to be the blank cover that was going to win this week. It must be that blank cover enthusiast that watches us live.
Chris Bell, thank you. Chris, the Judge Bell, thank you so much, mate. I appreciate it. Look, we all knew I weren't going to win. We all know I had sunstroke. We all know I was suffering. We all know I messed up. But you know what? We're only human. We all make mistakes. Mine was just epic. Okay? So, but yeah, well done. Well done, mate. So, Andy, you are the man of the moment at the minute, aren't you, eh? You really are.
He's everywhere. It's like a
bad smell.
Like a dirty horse under pants.
Tomorrow, I have the pleasure of being on Triple G's channel. At 8 o'clock, we are going to review some comics. So I know that Peter had done it last week, and he'd done an absolutely fantastic job. So I'm going to jump in and give my tuppence worth on 5 of the comics that I've read this week, including Void Rivals and Black Panther 1 and Something Epic issue number 2 and a couple of other ones. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to sitting down and chatting comics with people.
And if any of you in the chat or you're watching this on the rewind don't know who Triple G is, he's in The Star, The Sun, The Metro, The News of the World. He's on Lorraine, he's on Loose Women, he's putting out 50 YouTube video a day. So yeah, he's kind of doing bits, and
he's the gatekeeper of the UK comic community. That's how I like to refer to him.
Yeah. And he also does a Geeky Art Attack show on a Monday, and it's a good laugh. It's absolutely fantastic. So massive shout out to Pete for pumping out these videos constantly. So, and anyone else who does videos on YouTube, to be fair, because it's our craft.
It is.
I've just dropped the link to his YouTube channel in the chat.
Perfect.
Nice. So that's on Friday, tomorrow at 8 o'clock over on Triple G's channel. And then, obviously, this slide's been missing for a couple of weeks, but we are back. This is a social, so you can follow myself over on Geeky Guy Comics _ on Instagram, and then Geeky Guy Comics on Twitter.
You can find me at perpetual.comics on Instagram and perpetual comics on the Twitter.
You can follow me on Instagram as Not Quite Mint KC, or you can follow me as Tom Malin Personal Training as well. It's not Tom Malin anymore.
Oh, okay. And then, sorry, mate, I'll update that. And then, obviously, we've got the one that collates all three of us at the Killer Comics Show on Instagram, and then Killer Comics Show over on Twitter. We love your support. We love everything you do for us and sharing our posts and everything like that. So massive shout out to that. So on to next week. We've got the Killer Comics Show sneak peek for next week. So the 3 comics that are up for the vote that are going live straight after this show are, Andy?
Yeah, I've went for Something Epic issue number 2. I had the pleasure of reading issue number 1 a few days ago, and it's absolutely fantastic. The artwork is superb. So I will be giving my thoughts on that, obviously, on Peter's show tomorrow. And if it wins, then I'm looking forward to Tom and Charlie giving me their thoughts on it next week.
I quite like the idea of this one.
Yeah, I've gone for Dead by Daylight, which is the popular computer game. If you haven't played this computer game or you're not a gamer out there, look into it because it's fantastic. Absolutely amazing. The artwork on this looks really incredible, and I'm also looking forward to seeing what this story holds. So, yes.
And I've gone for Void Rivals, written by Robert Kirkham, who is an amazing writer that we all know from Invincible, and we read something recently that he'd done which was pretty good. Is it The Ambassadors?
No,
Robert Kirkman. No, Robert. That was
Mark Miller. Yeah, Mark Miller.
Miller. But yeah, so he's done quite a few bits and bobs anyway. So I'm looking forward to read this. But if you haven't seen the 1 in 500 cover for this, it's worth seeing because it's done by Daryl Warren Johnson, who is an absolute fave of mine. And if you didn't know the news, he is going to be writing and doing the art for the next Transformers series. So you're welcome.
Yeah, I've read this. It's fantastic. The first issue is really, really good. I'd highly recommend it.
So these 3 will be up, and you can place the votes on the YouTube community tab on our YouTube channel, and then we will let you know on Monday who the winner is. Now, saving the best to last, we've got, you might think there was one thing missing from the show this week. It's the pickups. It's the killer pickets. What a fantastic way to end the show on. So, Andy, I assume you have an absolute bundle of joy to share with us. Tom, have you got anything?
Yeah, I've got some little bits, and I've got some stuff to show as well.
Okay. So, Tom, you go first. I'll go second, and then Andy can see us on to the evening with his box full of goodness.
Cool. Well, I should have showed this a few weeks ago, but me and Andy made a cheeky little trade after I moved home down here to Cornwall, and I've got a little bit of an obsession with Lego, which you all will know. So Andy sent me some nice bits and bobs. So I've got some Ninjago little racers, which is pretty cool. Can't wait to get into that bad boy. I like the little ones. It doesn't take me so long to make them.
I knew that.
I've got there's like a Star Wars one, which I think is like a racer, which is pretty cool. But the pièce de résistance is I'm collecting these helmets. The helmets. So I've got the Luke Skywalker helmet from Andy, which I'm looking forward to getting on. And as me and Andy, I think we discussed last time when I got the Mandalorian one. These are so therapeutic to put together.
Oh yeah.
They take time, but it just feels so good to build them and put them together because you've literally got like an art piece.
Yeah.
And then Boba Fett's my favorite character in the Star Wars universe. So Andy was kind enough to send me the Slave One, which is the ship of Boba Fett. So I'm looking forward to basically opening that and getting into it. Sorry for showing it with bubble wrap on. I actually haven't opened it properly because I was waiting for the right time to actually get into it. Because as soon as I open it, I want to make everything, which is.
I was just thinking how well that was packaged up. I'm kind of
do you know what? Look, this one, especially the helmet one, it's bomb proof, mate.
Hey,
I don't even know how I'm supposed to get in there.
Safety first.
And what Connie's just said, every time someone mentions Lego, I have an overwhelming guilt that I got a Mandalorian set for my birthday in 2021 and I still haven't built it. Connie, is that also probably sitting with the Many Lives of Layla Starr that was by your bed that you never read?
All the graphic novels just popped up on top of each other with the coffee on top.
I'm only joking. But yeah, no, I've heard you both say that the Lego helmets are therapeutic to buy. To build and stuff. So yeah. Right.
And then my final piece that came today, and thank you very much, Charlie, for sending this over, was the DC cards that we've been luckily given on the show, which I'm looking forward to getting in and opening, and might even do an unboxing and reopen the old Not Quite Mint YouTube channel just for that. But yeah, thank you very much, Charlie. Really appreciate that.
Don't thank me, mate. Thank Zavi. They was meant to send them
Thanks,
out
Zavi.
to us and they've just sent them to me. So I'm glad you
I know, but I like thanking you because you posted it and it cost you money.
That's all right, mate.
Thanks, Zavi.
Thanks, Zavi. So I've literally got a I see this on eBay. I've been bidding for it, but I got it on Monday, and I don't know why. I just thought, yeah, this is great. I've been watching the Superman and Lois TV show. Been loving it, and I know Triple G is a big fan of it as well. But I managed to pick up these hardback covers
Oh my god, that is one of the best Superman written
Right.
books ever. Earth 1.
So I've got issue 1, Earth 1,
So good.
volume 2, and volume 3. £16 for all 3 of them delivered.
I've not read volume 3, but the
Right.
first 2 are amazing.
But I have
The
to
Green
say,
Lantern one is good as well.
yeah, I'm not like, and they've done the Batman ones of these as well. And the Batman, like, I've got all 3 of them. The Batman, the individual books cost me £16 each. So to be able to pick these up, and they are in mint condition. Like I'm talking, these are in perfect condition, and I just love the covers on them. Like,
Yeah,
they're really cool. They're really cool. So
Andy,
yeah,
to be fair, I know you don't like Superman, but you might like that Earth 1 because it makes him more of a humanized character. His powers aren't exactly be all and end all, if you like.
Believe it or not, I have a Superman comic in my pickups this week.
but this for me,
Sorry,
this for
did
me,
you just stutter?
I think he did. But that
Sorry,
for
what,
me
a Superman
reminds me
comic?
of Brightburn. Have you seen that
Yes,
film, Brightburn?
yes, mate. I kind of feel like that's where they got the idea from
Yeah,
because
that,
I think that comic book came out beforehand. It is a very
Yeah.
well written book. That one,
I think
I must
they did. But
be honest.
but that's my pickup
Nice.
for an absolute
Very
bargain.
cool.
Andy,
Let's go. I want to see the Superman book.
What time's it? 10:30? Sure.
Have I got time for a wee?
I picked up the Black Panther issue number 1 to 6.
Great series. Absolutely great series.
First appearance of Shuri in issue number 2. And this is like the first appearance of Claw, I think. And then second appearance of Shuri. This is a book that goes under the radar. Not a lot of people know the significance of that one. Issue 5, issue 6.
That series came out when I started recollecting comics, and it was one of the only it's one of the series I picked up. The artist on it, I can't remember the name of the artist.
There was Ramita Jr. and
Ramita Jr. is on it, and he's absolutely phenomenal in that book. And there's Embargo, you know, the big gorilla dude. He makes his debut in that book too.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's issue 2. He fights T'Challa. It's pretty cool.
Nice, nice. Speaking of Superman Action Comics, it is not a Frisson or a Jock cover. It is a Michael Turner cover.
Oh, mate. Michael Turner's my boy.
Yeah, really, really. It's a pure cover buy, clearly. It's nothing to do with the story.
Do you know what? That's one of the really good series as well, because Michael Turner was involved in the writing of that. The Godfall series, where basically Superman gets trapped in the what's it called, the miniature city of Kandor, and he ends up being in Kandor with no powers, and he's like a law-abiding lawman. He's basically Judge Dredd, if you like. In the book, he's got a bike and everything.
You're still not going to sell it to me, Tom. You're not going to sell it.
So good.
Like Judge Dredd when you're talking about Superman comics. Come on.
He's got a cool bike.
How dare you? I picked up another copy of this, the Math promotional, and this is probably one of the best copies that I've picked up. I managed to get this in a 9.8, but when I realised how good a condition this was, I was happy. And speaking of which, Superman,
I might have to borrow them off you, mate, if you've got a few.
Judge Dredd, definitely, we'll fit. Judge Dredd versus Aliens, Incubus, again another great story. I picked up issue 1 to 4, so that's issue number 1. Issue number 2 is done by Jock. Had to mention Jock in this.
Of course.
And issue number 3
rhymes with sock.
Spot. Now these were cool. I've got sort of into getting the foreign comics. So this is a French comic. So it's Special Origins, and it's called Strange.
Is that Barry Gibb?
Or Jeremy Beadle.
Yes, that's great. Do you know who that guy is? No, guy.
It's Kirby, isn't it?
It might be. I thought it might have been Ramita, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's interesting because it reprints some of the classic stories. So obviously,
what's Spider-Man called? Le Spider-Man.
Le Spider-Man.
Le Hulk.
Le Spider-Froid.
So yeah,
that looks wicked though. Like that looks great.
Cool, and this one's pretty cool as well. It's a French copy, but it reprints this.
That's wicked,
mate. First appearance of Mystique. Not Mystique.
Rogue. Rogue. That's me.
Rogue.
Some J. Scott Campbell goodness.
Danger Girl
Danger's collection. Love it. Absolutely love it. Great condition as well. I got some more Judge Dredd. It's as if it was meant to be Predator versus Judge Dredd, the sort of trade paperback.
I actually have read that. That's actually a really good book.
Yeah, it's a solid story.
Is that cardstock as well? Because that glares. It's lovely.
No, it's like a trade paperback, sort of thick cardstock cover. Yeah,
it's nice.
You'll enjoy this one, Tom. Some Mangaverse, Marvel Mangaverse.
Oh yeah, nice.
So I picked up issue 1, 2, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Nice. So again, just because it was manga, I just started to pick it up. It was cheap as chips. So, did you hear that noise? That was the noise of a Forbidden Planet pickup. Halloween, Scotty Young book. It was the only place that I could find it at a decent price. And yes, it came in an oversized.
It's actually a good read.
Hollow's Eve's not bad.
Yeah,
well, that's the only thing it's going to be good for is a good read once I get a backing board for it.
Shocking.
I got a couple of Power Man comics. So these are significant keys. I can't remember what the reason is. Maybe somebody in the chat will be able to tell me. So it's Power Man and Iron Fist 78 and 84.
I actually think I have them.
So I picked these up from Comic Market UK on Whatnot. Big shout out to another Andy. Got them for a great price.
Hello, mate.
I definitely recommend you watch his shows. Got this beauty. This is Darth Vader issue number 4. This is the 4th print. So this is a key book. I think it's like the 2nd appearance of
Dr. Aphra.
Yes, Dr. Aphra. So good book that to get.
You got the first appearance as well, didn't you?
Yeah, that was one of the ones I first graded.
Yeah.
9.8. Got a little hip hop cover here. So this is Red Wolf issue number 1.
Oh, nice.
So just slowly but surely adding to the hip hop collection I've got. A modern Scotty Young Marauders issue number 1.
That Scotty Young one is a direct replica in a slightly different position of the Avengers one.
Yeah. Is it the X-Force or is it Avengers? Arena?
There's Avengers one where they're all stacked up on the. Actually, there might be more than one.
I think there's an X-Force one as well.
Yeah, I was going to say I think there is an X-Force one.
A little bit of J. Scott
Campbell.
Fantastic Four issue number 1.
J. Scott Campbell.
This is quite a hard one to get. Mrs. and Mr. and Mrs. X issue number 1, I think it is. Yeah.
Is that the Scotty Young variant?
Scotty Young one, yeah.
That's nice.
Agents of Atlas issue number 1, Scotty Young.
Great cover that.
Yeah.
It's gone a bit of a Scotty Young run, mate.
Yeah, I've like I think I've got like 2 short boxes full now of Scotty Young, going back to like back in the day, so chipping away.
Excuse me.
I've been picking these up. These are the this is Darth Vader, the Galactic Icons variants. So I've been picking those up. Cheapest chips for that one. Got a little Judge Dredd action figure, 1/18 scale from Higher Toy.
Can you put the link into the chat for that? Because I'd like to buy that.
Yeah. So this was, I put it up on my Instagram. It's Zombie Toys.
Oh, is that one? Oh, okay, cool.
So they're a UK based. It's the first time I've used them. The packaging was immaculate.
Cool.
I was happy enough to promote them. Usagi Jimbo.
J.
Scott Campbell.
That's insane. Where did you get these from?
This one was an eBay pickup. Yeah. So
stunning.
And
is that from his site? Is that got one of the official things in the back?
It has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think that's when you can't get the black and white ones unless they're
retailer.
From his site.
I think it was a retailer incentive one, wasn't it? Nearly finished, guys. So we've got Defenders of the Earth issue number 1, the UK sort of magazine comic.
Phantom.
Yeah, love this. Loved the Phantom when I was younger. What else? Oh, so these are cool. So these are trading cards of comic creators, a little bit like Thought Bubble was, but this is for San Diego Comic Con 2014. And there's people like Becky Cloonan, there's Jeff Johns, there's Jim Lee, Bruce Timm. But the reason I picked it up, guys,
Jock.
This guy. So there was a joke.
And if you notice, it's the only one in a book.
Jesus.
Yeah, there we go. So I was delighted to pick these up. It was somebody in the UK that was actually selling these.
Do you know what? There is going to be a restraining order shortly. You can just see it coming.
The secret is you collect what you like, and I like collecting jock covers and artwork and trading cards and everything else that goes
And
with
anything
it.
that's got the word
and
jock on
postcodes
it.
and use
postcodes,
stamps and
yeah,
use
yeah,
post
yeah.
and use post.
The next thing there'll be the next section of this show in a few years' time will be, this is what Andy has found rummaging through Jock's bins.
Listen, I'm saying nothing. Listen, these are just bullies, okay? Leave
Like
me
a
alone.
trash
That's my
panda.
pickup for this week. Leave me alone.
Mate, the bullying
This
will not get as bad
highlighter
as it did.
was used by Jock at Thought Bubble.
The bullying will not get as bad as me picking a blank cover, so that will go down as forever the worst cover picked on the Killer Comic Show. But
I don't know.
as
There's
we're
been some shockers.
as we're coming, well, yeah, to be fair, as we're coming to the end of the show, last week I did say on the show, or we did say on the show, that as it was a Harley Quinn, we wanted people to comment when their first introduction was to Harley Quinn, and all you had to do was comment on last week's show underneath and let us know when you was first introduced to Harley Quinn. Surprisingly, there was only 2 people that actually commented and said when they first was introduced to Harley Quinn. One of them was Chris Clary, so thanks for that, sir. And the other one was Batman Dixon. 5 packs of these will be on their way to you for the hero cards, so we can send you down another rabbit hole and you can kind of get involved in that. So if you can drop myself, Andy, or Tom, or the Killer Comic Show a DM on Instagram with your address, I will get them in the post.
It's best that you drop Charlie because he has them and he'll be sending them, just FYI.
Oh yeah, yeah. So just but what I meant is in the Killer Comic Show, I'll drop them to Geeky Guy Comics _ and I will get them in the post for you tomorrow, and you can kind of do an unboxing, post them on Instagram, and just highlight the show. And you can then we are not liable for any more money that you spend going down rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Just want to put that out there. But yeah, five packs of these cards, unopened cards, will be on their way to you. So drop me a message. Thank you very much. Guys, I think that's another show done. I don't really think I've got anything else to add other than it's another week done. Enjoy the comics that you're reading. Enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy what you're doing. Live life to the fullest. Collect what you like. Don't get any restraining orders. Don't pick any blank covers for cover of the week. And yeah, that's Geeky Guy Comics signing out. What about you guys?
Tom?
All I've got to say is thanks for being here and stay safe. Stay sexy.
And make sure you check out Andy tomorrow on Triple G Show at 8 o'clock, where he will be reviewing 5 fantastic comics. Guys, it's another quality show, and we shall see you same time next week. See you later.
See ya.